Hello. How are we doing? That's good. Let me do the normal share job here and make it so I'm not so dark on the stream here. What the heck? What the heck? It's normally a different way to do that, but okay. I'm with it. I'm with it. I could do it like that. That's fine. Alright, Twitch seems to be bugging out here a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Good on YouTube, good on Facebook. Let me just see Twitch. Not like anybody follows us there. Looks like we're on. Restream's just being weird. Cool. Great. Alright, well, we'll call it. That's good. Alright, whatever. Let me get out of that. Okay, we're over here. Alright. So, it's obviously, yeah, it's late, yeah. I was working on a couple things, and I wanna rant here for a moment. Pretty annoying that just a random situation that I ran into. I've done a lot of work over the past 2 days. A lot of Facebook, or not Facebook, but a lot of podcasting work, a lot of like filming, editing. Thank you, Game Stance. Thank you. A lot of filming, a lot of editing, a lot of promoting, and that's just the Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's the routine there for Fueled by Progress and AM and the PM. So, there's just a lot of hurdles that I've kind of start to see when you're recording with 4K, and the machine is more than capable of doing it. But just like with YouTube and stuff, it's difficult takes a long time to upload HD content into like not HD, like 4K content into a YouTube video. Like when you put it up on YouTube, you got to upload it, then it's got to process the standard definition, then it has to process the high definition, and it just, from my experience in these 2 days, it's taken a very long time for it to get the full quality up. So I should probably do stuff earlier so I have more time for that to actually work. It's not the end of the world as long as it gets up there reasonably around the time. And both of the videos were a little late, but we got the audio versions of the podcast out on all the platforms right at the scheduled time, so that was something interesting. But the reason that the first thing that I wanted to kind of rant about, just total aside, is I worked on that. I've been working on that last couple of days, and almost like kind of throughout the nights and a little bit, because it takes a long time to edit, like 2 and 3 hour episodes. And then I wanted to play some fucking Warzone Rumble, and I come on here today, and like the update must have changed it, so now it doesn't have Warzone Rumble, which it doesn't really matter what that is, but it's a game mode that you play against people, and it's like a team deathmatch rather than like the regular battle royale thing. Probably not my target audience of stuff, but I have this computer, I'm going to game a little bit on it, and I downloaded that because it's free, and that was really fucking annoying, especially considering that I just purchased a fucking Xbox controller, and it should be here, I don't know, sometime the next week or something like that. It seems like everybody and their mom purchased Xbox controllers. Weird. But anyway, so that was my favorite part of that so far, so hopefully they put that the fuck back in. But that was annoying. And then yeah, so I was doing that. I played a little bit, whatever, but I was looking forward to that because I was having fun with that like last week or whatever, earlier this week. So yeah, whatever, not a big deal, but it's kind of annoying. And then I kind of did a couple other things. So uh, yeah, yeah, Dave. Hopefully they put it back in. I don't really care that much. Honestly, I mean, like it's kind of sucks because I was playing it. But the thing is, I'm just very confused about like what they do with that game because I thought, like, I read after I saw it was gone. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I think that they like regularly put things in and take things out. And like that seemed like a very staple type of thing. Obviously, the battle royale piece of that is like the main thing, but it was just very strange, like because I just came on to this scene and saw that, and I was playing, and I was liking it, and it's boom, boom, it's gone. So, and there's, if you look on Twitter, like there's a lot of people that say the same thing. It's like, what the fuck? I was just playing this the other day, and now it's gone. So it's just it's a strange thing. But I'm not like into gaming that off, into the industry that much. So I don't know, like, especially nowadays, like, do they change shit that often? And I don't know, just kind of strange. But oh well, maybe they'll put it in one day, and all will be right again in the world. I don't know, but I did a couple things today, and then I want to kind of actually talk, even though this is a terrible time to actually like give some advice per se, or like, and this is going to be not really a good way to like show people my process, but I kind of needed to work through it a little bit, and I figured, you know what, I reworked it a little bit. I might as well just throw it up here on the stream. So we'll get to that in a second. But the first thing, a couple things that I did, again, most of it was podcast work, literally last 2 days, just all podcast stuff. Like, I'm in here, I'm editing the video, I'm letting it render times are like very, very good, obviously, with the machine, but it still like takes a while of like you doing nothing. So I try to fill in that time as much as possible, and see what kind of happens there. But the couple things that I did outside of that was they do that so people are inclined to give feedback. I know it sounds weird, but they decide something is worth keeping and maintaining based on how many people are upset with it when it's taken away. That's actually good. It's actually a really good point and decent strategy. Maybe I should voice my opinion. Say, what the fuck? Because I liked a couple tweets, but I didn't actually say anything. So I might have to do that. That's interesting. In the midst of all that, like earlier today, I had to help my dad like install like a thing for a work from home piece of software and stuff like that. That was not huge, but just interesting. The way that I'm a geek in that sort of way, where I like to see how people do things like that, like work from home. So it's some sort of like VPN like connection thing, so they can log into the server and stuff. I mean, it was pretty easy, but it was a weird scenario. And like another thing, like sort of like an offshoot of that, I get more turned off to being an employee like every time I hear somebody talk about being an employee. And I'm not trying to sound like a prick when I say that. I just mean that, like, I thought about it today, and again, this isn't a strange aside, but it's all related in one way or another. I was coming home from 2 hockey games, and I was coming home. I came like into the garage, and I was like, getting my stuff out of the car, right, and the clothes and whatever, and the gear and everything. And I was walking inside, and just like, I have another story too, actually, but that's important too. But anyway, I was walking inside, and like just this, sometimes like these thoughts just come into my head, like these instances or these things these things that I've been through, or like like feelings and different things like that. And the thought that comes into my head is that it's like it's not like a deja vu thing, but it's sort of like thinking back to the time when there would be so many times, way back when I was working, like a 9-to-5 job, where I would wake up, leave for work around like 9 or whatever, get there at 10. And when I leave, I have to take all my shit. Like, I have to take all my stuff because I play hockey a lot at night, right? So I have to take like all my hockey stuff, my change of clothes. Sometimes I would go to Amanda's house, like in between that. So like, anything like I had to take and stuff like that. And I would take all of that shit with me in the beginning of the day. I would go to a job that was like just not fulfilling, and I just, sucked, for lack of a better term. Again, we've talked about that. It's not like I'm not really blaming that. Past that, it's like, it's kind of my, it was myself. But point is, I was somewhere where I didn't want to be. We'll just leave it at that. Did that, and then went to Amanda's house or whatever, hung out. I got some dinner or something, and then went to play hockey. And I was gone from my house for like 12 hours, or more. And it was just interesting because I'm coming home today, and it's a day where I don't know how this shit gets into my head, but like I didn't have to bring anything inside. And it's been a while, obviously, but like just today for some reason, like I didn't have to bring all the crap like that I would lug to and from, like my laptop and, change of clothes and like all this extra shit. And it's just like, it's a weird thing. I'm not going to say it's not a weird thing, but it's like, I was so fucking happy that I don't have to do that anymore. And it was the greatest. It was a great feeling. Like, it was such a small, stupid, simple thing, but I was like, I am so goddamn happy that I have tried to make these decisions, and I've pushed for these things, and I made the decision to move and do my own stuff and move away from that and do my own stuff. And I just have no doubts. Like, I have no doubts that this is all going to work out. I don't know to what degree. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be the next Jeff Bezos or whatever. But you never fucking know. Like, I don't like people like that. I hate it when people like sell themselves short and don't have enough confidence in themselves. And there's a difference between like being arrogant and being confident, obviously. But it's just like, I think that's a real important thing to have, and just like believe in yourself, And as I continue to do these things, I start to do that a little bit more. And, we're putting the pieces together, and we're starting to see some things, and it's fucking great, So it was a random thought, random thing that happened to me today. And, and that was all brought on by, like employee talk and stuff like that. And, I know so many fucking people that work for other people and hate it. And it doesn't mean, I know the critical flaw. I think it's in a lot of people, Dave. And I'm assuming you're talking about, like lack of confidence and things like that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here. I can't sit here and tell you that I was like, I exude confidence 24/7, and I've always been like this and that and this and that and the other thing. Like, 'cause it's not true. Like, I always have self-doubt, and I always have like, am I good enough to do this, that, and the other thing? But once you start getting a little momentum, then you start to realize, wow, this isn't that hard, or like, I can do this type of thing, or, there's all these other people that are doing this shit. There's no reason that I can't do it. That's the mentality I love, is because once you realize that, then it just like, there's no more fear. It's like, you got to realize that, like, again, Jeff Bezos, just as an example, dude has so much money and so much, won't go into like the whole fucking power and all that bullshit, but just look at him from like a success perspective. The dude started in his fucking garage, like, I don't know. I don't want to get like preachy with that sort of shit, but that's what I mean is, you just, it gets developed, and I'm starting to see it. Like, I'm trying to document it too, obviously. And I'm trying to see how it happens, so I can try to explain that to other people if they're interested in doing similar things, or if they're just interested in trying something different. And, that all stems from that idea of, the whole, just like, the fucking employee talk. Right. And, I know a lot of employees that don't like where they're at, and, it's a shame that they don't change it. But, if I can be of any help, please don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to, I'm always trying to talk to people, obviously, like, especially with Fueled by Progress and stuff. Like, every single person I have on there, we're talking about different things. We're talking about different, whether it's society issue, culture issues, just like, but like, not even that. Like, I don't want that to necessarily be, like, rooted in all that. I want it to be rooted in helping people, personal development, professional development, like all that, those ancillary, those things, because those are important. And, I really enjoy, I've enjoyed the process. I've enjoyed the process so far of getting to where I'm at and moving away from something that I didn't like. And I would love nothing more than to help other people do the same thing. So that is one of my things that I like to do. So and that's why I have a lot of this stuff. So there we go. So all that stemmed from some VPN software talk. The other thing that I did was help like research and buy some like ink for like a printer, like this bad boy here, but one that's in my parents' office downstairs. And this is another random thing, and also I can't forget to tell that other story. But this is a random thing that I think I talked about it yesterday, and I had it happen to me again today. And it's like, it was about like ink. So like if you purchase like 4 cartridges of ink for this thing, it's like $200 and some, but somehow, some way people are also selling it for like $30. And it's like off-brand, shit. But the point that I'm trying to make is, and I made it yesterday, so I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but like I live my life valuing my time much more than my money. That's just how I think about it. I made a post about it on a couple platforms today. It's like, you can get more money. You can't get more time. And I believe in that so wholeheartedly that, obviously I'm willing to invest money into these different things that we're doing here and, the equipment and all this other stuff, because I believe that if I put the money in, then I will, one, get the money back, but also I will save a lot of time. And if there's any way that I can buy back just a little bit of time here and there, I think it's worth it, right? And if I can make the experience better too, then holy fuck, Because like nobody says that doing this shit is like really like easy or like fun. You got to be careful. It's not really fun all the time. Like, there's a lot of good parts. I just explained one that's like very fulfilling and makes you very happy. But like me sitting here and doing the shit that I can't pass on yet to other people, it's not fun. Like I constantly am in here. I'm like, oh geez, I got to do this now. I got to wait for it to render. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like I enjoy most of it, and I enjoy all of it because it's mine. But what I'm saying is, it's not like rainbows and butterflies all the time. So when you can, in my opinion, right? Maybe people are different. Maybe people have different opinions. Maybe there's all sorts of different reasons. But when you can invest a little bit of money, again, a very renewable resource given the age and the location in which most of us live. If you can invest a little bit of money into something with hopefully a positive return, either in more money or in happiness, ease of quality of life, et cetera, and diminish the amount of time that you need to spend on something. Or in this case, the ink thing, again, just a random example, or spend the money so you don't have to try to research and find and waste your time on like other things that probably won't work. I'm not, okay, let me stop for a second and take it back. I'm not saying that like $200 and some is right for 4 cartridges of Dell ink, but I'm saying like, that's just one example. I'm not picking on my dad. I'm not picking on anybody that decides to fucking buy off-brand ink. This is just an example. But like the point is that a lot of times in my life and the way that I try to live my life is I try to value my time over my money. That's it. And if I can do those things, invest in certain things to make my life better, to make what I'm doing easier, to make more money in the future, whatever, to save time so I don't have to scour the internet looking for different things and stuff like that, whether it's that or anything else, I'm going to do that because I think that overall that's going to be a better route. So just an opinion, just a thought that I had, just something that happened to me today. Yeah. So yeah, ink is definitely a scam, obviously. Yeah. So, but that was just the example, like I said. So, think about it. I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts, but that's kind of my 2 cents. So I had another thing that was unrelated to that, and I actually should have told it yesterday because I think it happened to me 2 nights ago. But I am almost certain that I had a lucid dream for the first time, and that is something that I have known about for a very long time and always wanted to experience, but I never like took like actual actionable steps to getting to do something like that and have that happen to me. But I think it just happened randomly. So I'll try to explain it. 2 nights ago, I'm sleeping. It was actually the night that, I think it was the night that, I guess it was Tuesday night. So it was like 4 a.m. Maybe that actually had something to do with it. It was 4 a.m. I fell asleep because I just put I just started the render for the audio, actually, not the video, of FBP 49 with Dave Cupp. I had started the render, and I slept. I put the monitor, I turned the monitor off, I turned the lights in the case off, and I fell asleep. And I always try to fall asleep on my back because I think it's the healthiest. I'm no doctor, but it seems like it's healthiest. There's also not a lot of research that I fucking found on that, which is total aside, but I always try to fall asleep on my back, right? It's the best for your health from a, I guess, skeletal wise or whatever, but also like I think breathing and things like that. So I put the tape on my mouth because I'm a big mouth taper at night. I think that helps. It's total different story, but I do that like I do every night. I try to sleep on my back and I go to sleep. Now, a couple things, because I want to just document the whole experience. The computer is on. It's running. There's no lights really on per se, maybe like one, like small one or whatever, but the computer is running. And what I've noticed is, maybe from the monitor mostly, but definitely like probably from the computer as well, when this shit is all on now, it gets fucking hot in here. Okay? Like, I have to keep the fan on. Like, I'm actually kind of hot right now because this fan isn't on. It's just a regular ceiling fan. And it's a little weird. It's like, I definitely notice it's way hotter in here. It's only like a 12 by 10 room, okay? And I have central AC and I have a vent over there, and my dad's an HVAC technician, and it's pretty decent air, like, like so. But for some reason, it gets fucking hot. Okay, obviously there's more stuff in the room. It's probably just that, but that's not really a part of it. But the reason I say that is because I had the fan on that night, and I have always had this nice little. Yeah, it's when I'm doing Restream now. So I'm using Restream right now, and as you can see, like, it's on the first comment up there is Twitch, and then we have the Facebook ones, and it's on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So restreamed across all platforms on my Mark J. Szymanski stuff, and yeah, that's like a little, oh shit, that's like a little right there because it's on Streamlabs. That's a little like almost like an app that Restream has, like a Restream chat, so you can see all of them. I kind of like it, but I think it's kind of tiny. My dad actually watched the one last night, and he said, yeah, it's a little tiny on the phone or some shit, but yeah, so I like it though. It was an idea from a buddy of mine, Max Mirho, over on LinkedIn. He does the streams, and he uses Restream, and he puts that thing on there, so I like it. What I was saying with the fan thing. So I had the fan on, okay? I want to try to speed this story up because I want to do some other shit too. So I had the computer on. The computer's running, probably a little hotter in here than normal at night. I had the fan on, but ever since I was like a little kid, like I think I had the fan on like one time when I was younger, and I got like a sore throat, like because it was on, because probably like my throat dried out and shit like that. And for that reason, I've pretty much never slept with an actual fan, this fan on. And so I turned the fan off so it was a little hotter or whatever. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but again, I'm just documenting. I fall asleep on my back. I fall asleep on my back, and at some point in the night, I'm probably going to say maybe like, I don't know, like 6 a.m. or some shit. I don't know what time. I get into this state where I am definitely not sleeping. Like, I'm sleeping, but I know what's going on. And the other reason that I think this was a lucid dream is because I remember it. I don't remember any of my dreams. Like, I have them in my head as they're happening, like you're kind of experiencing it or whatever. But once you wake up, like, there's been times where I literally record my dream. Like, I just say it as soon as I wake up. I turn my voice recorder on and just say it, as ridiculous as it is. I just document it. And then I can never remember that. Like, I can't actually remember it later. I have to, hear the recording and be like, oh, okay, I guess I remember that. It's just weird. I think that's a thing. They just start to go away real fast. Point that I'm making, though, is I didn't forget this. So I think it was an actual, like, different type of experience. So I'm laying there, and at some point, my mind, like, kind of switches halfway on, it seems like. And I'm like, if you're like, I'm gonna try to act this out almost, but like I'm laying there and my hands are either like this or they're like kind of like this, like just like resting on my like on my chest or on my torso here somewhere, okay? And I'm sleeping there like this. And this like a couple things that I notice, and like my brain is like, I'm definitely not really sleeping, but I'm definitely not getting up, because I am like, I can, like, I remember my arms specifically. My arms were hot, like not like hot to the touch, because I didn't move. Like I couldn't move. I was like there, but like it was like your eyes are like open, but you're not moving. So like maybe like a sleep paralysis type thing, but it wasn't sleep paralysis because like I could move if I wanted to, but like it was like hard to move. It felt like all of my limbs, like my arms especially, were hot. And then like the other thing I just realized is when your leg like falls asleep, you get those like pins and needles. It kind of felt like that. It felt like, it wasn't like that throbbing like pins and needles, but it was just like it was like your arms were just kind of like down a little bit, and there was like some pressure, like, and it was hot. And I think, if I'm no expert and I've done no research on this, I will at some point. I've just been busy. But it's actually pretty common, and once you're cognizant of the dream, being a dream, you can actually control it and alter it. Well, yeah. People will master this self-quality of life improvements because of it. That being said, incredibly hard to master it if so sleep. What else are you going to do? Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Like I said, I haven't done any research and I haven't done any of that sort of shit, but I will look into it to see if, like, what are the commonalities of when this happens, because like I said, I've known about this for a long time. And I've always wanted to kind of do it because, you can fly and do random shit in your dream. Like, okay, well, I need to figure out how to actually do it first. And I just never did that. But anyway, like I said, I think it happened to me. And I'm laying there and I have like, it's like heat, and you can feel like some pins and needles almost type of thing. And you're kind of like still, you can't really move. And I think that like the heat thing is like I'm assuming it's like you like getting in touch with like your body, like being almost like detached from your mind in a sense. I kind of think like the way that I felt was that I was laying here and like this is my head, my feet or whatever, and my eyes and my mind in a sense was like right here. And it was like I knew what I was doing because I knew like the way that I was feeling, but it was like I was kind of looking at myself, not looking at myself in the face, but looking at my like shape of my body in a sense. And so I did that. And the other thing that happened was I wasn't like, when I realized that it was happening, it was like I almost stopped breathing because I was like scared, I guess, at first. And I was like, wait a second, like I'm cool. Like I literally was like, okay, this is, I'm definitely not sleeping per se, but like this is fine. It's probably like I actually think I kind of thought it was a lucid dream somehow. Because it wasn't like a fucking weird dream. Like that's one thing that I always remember is like people say, oh, look at clocks all the time, because if there's ever like a fucked up clock in your dream or something like that, or like the totem, like Inception type thing, then yeah, Ash Candy, yeah, what's up? You're probably one of those trolls from the forum thing that I saw one time. But the what was I gonna say? If you're spiritual, I'll call it astral projection. Oh, really? Not telling you to believe in it, but I will have to look into that. Appreciate that, Dave. But yeah, again, I'm dragging this story out so long. But again, the other thing that I thought about it, I was like, okay, I'm probably in like a lucid dream kind of state thing, kind of felt like it. So then I like controlled my breathing and I settled down, and I was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. So I tried to like kind of think and do something different, like, do like some sort of outer body fucking thing, but I couldn't really figure it out. So hopefully it happens again and I'm able to like, try it more, or, figure out what to do. But then I was like, how do I get out of this? I think I like didn't know how to get out of it. So I was like, well, let me just like kind of force my way like to roll over and continue to sleep. And I did that, and that was a weird sensation, because it was like if you roll over like in your sleep, I think you kind of come out of it slightly a little bit, or you can, and I think that's kind of what happened to me. And then like I rolled over, and then I think I just kind of fell asleep. But the point is that okay, you're no troll. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. If you're here for the content, I really appreciate that. yeah, um, so we did that, and it was a very interesting experience. So that's pretty much all I have. I need to look at some more shit there to see what exactly may have happened, but it was very interesting. So maybe it'll happen again. But yeah, so that was a long-winded explanation of all that shit. The other thing that I did was I took the 120 gigabyte SSD out of this computer, like actually took it out, and I'm gonna give that to my buddy Dave for helping me out with all this goodness. And yeah, I am in absolutely no need of it. So I know that Dave will use it, so I'm happy about that. But other than that, though, PC tremendous, whole setup, everything dope. Super happy about all that. And let's go into this real quickly because I did do something over here on Streamlabs that is going to be hopefully kind of cool. Not that cool. The first time I did it. So, like I said, today and yesterday I was working on the podcast a lot. I was working on FPP 49 yesterday and AM and the PM 18 today. And the thing that, and I've talked about this, the problem that I'm having right now is that I don't even have any water in here. What the fuck is wrong with me? The problem that I'm having is that I have too much shit going on. Okay, I'm starting to realize that because now it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to do this, then this, and this. For sure, Dave. Thank you. But yeah, it is, I have too much shit going on and I have too much stuff like that I can't, how do I put this? I have too much stuff going on that is now becoming like actual steps in a process rather than just like, oh, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. And you just like hit random things like on this thing down here. That was like random tasks. Bear Grylls it. Yeah. There's like random tasks over here that were like building up things. Right. And, you know, it's kind of getting out of control, slowly but surely. I'm not like, it's not going crazy yet, but what I need to do, what I really know that I need to do, and again, I'm not sure of the timing. I don't know if anybody ever really is. I need to start getting some like help and delegation, or at least at minimum, refining and defining and then refining the processes in which I do things myself. Because that's how you grow a fucking business, right? You start yourself and you start doing things. You start learning how to do things. And then you're like, well, I'm making podcasts every week, right? Well, how the fuck do I do that? Like maybe there's other people that know how to make podcasts, but the point is how do I make ours? How do I make FPP? How do I make AM and the PM? What are the steps from beginning to end? And then you do those. And most of the time people do those like subconsciously, like they know what to do and they just do it. But I think the next step in that is taking the knowledge out of your brain and putting on a piece of paper, so you can, say, hey, Joe Schmo off the street, hey, do you know how to use a computer? Cool, get the fuck in here. I'm going to pay you to sit at this seat and follow this list of stuff. Now, let me make this clear here randomly because I don't like saying that. I don't want my employees to be like that. I don't want it to be like, here's money for your time type of thing, because I know that I hate that. I would like it to be much more of a team atmosphere where we're all contributing, because it's like my thing and our things that we've started, like me and Amanda and all the other shit that we're doing. But at the end of the day, though, I don't think that people last very long in those environments. Maybe some people do that just want to go there and come back, but that's not really the type of people that I would really like to honestly be around, because that's not growth oriented, in my opinion. Like, I want people to come into my ecosystem, flourish and grow, and then if they need to go somewhere else, go somewhere else. Like, I don't want to be like the fucking master here. I want to be a leader, not a boss. Hate fucking bosses. I want to be a leader. I want to help. I want to pull. There's like fucking memes and shit all over the place. Not memes, but like pictures. Like, I want to pull with you and my team together while we're moving forward. I don't want to be like the one fucking cracking the fucking whip. That's not what I want to do. So, all that being said, we're going to try to do a little thing here, and we'll see what happens. Did that switch? I'm gonna say it had to have switched. I'm going to check just to make sure. Ooh, I think it did. Nice. I think there's a little bit of latency. I don't know what the latency is on each platform. I wish I knew. I think Twitch is probably the fastest at like maybe like 3 to 5 seconds. I don't know. I don't care. But okay, so I switched over here, and this is just obviously my screen now. It's a different scene. Cool. My face is down here in the corner, down here, and obviously you can see this Google Doc here, and I have, this is my Google. I'll just briefly explain this to you. I have the Google Keep. That's where I have one of the accounts is the stuff that I need to do. One of the accounts is the stuff that I did, and then I have Restream over here, and that's how we get it out to the other stuff, and yada yada. But the point that I want to make here, and the thing that I want to kind of run through real quick, even though it's late as fuck, is sort of this thing that I'm doing now. So this is a very rough thing because it's just like, processes, like all one document or whatever. But I kind of want to talk about this because I really think it's important, and I know it's important for what I'm doing. So these things are, if you remember, there's can't fucking do this yet. There's a board right here, and on this board, which you can't see, is basically the things in bold here. So we got, daily live, stream to wrap everything up every day. We got the finance, wow, reconciliation every Monday. So that's like all the personal stuff, all the business stuff. And then down here, we have an FBP episode and an AM and the PM episode, one per week. So, the reason that I have this and the reason that I'm showing this off right now is mostly because I wanted to kind of run through it and, see if anybody has any input, but also just because like I just did this and I wanted to kind of like recap it a little bit and just really talk about it. Is the first thing is the bold points. Like I said, these are the big things that I'm working on a, we'll say weekly basis, right? So daily and then weekly. So like Monday, I have to do this. Wednesday, this has got to be done by, and then Thursday, this has got to be done by this. So the trouble, but kind of the trouble is that this shit, albeit this one's only 24 steps, only, I don't know, that's a lot or a little, but this takes up a lot of time. And I haven't finished this one yet down here, obviously. But like these take up a lot of time to do all these things. And I want to kind of go through this just as a thing. I'll probably end up, ultimately this would get made into like a separate video with like much more detail and stuff like that. And, but this is what I was talking about. Like I just went through my head and I did all the things that make a podcast in a sense. And I wrote them down. So, again, like I said, these ones are kind of relatively simplistic. So let's just jump into this real quick for the sake of time. Okay. So FVP episode, weekly episodes on Wednesdays, right? So we just had one released yesterday, and I actually already did a couple of these steps for the next episode, but we'll just pretend that we have to film an episode. Okay. Like we have not done anything for the next episode. Let's pretend. So I got to pick a guest, right? And I have like a guest list thing, and I got a bunch of names on it that I want to have people on. And then like, I've asked a lot of them if they want to be on, and a lot of them have said yes. I don't think I've gotten any real no's yet. Maybe like a couple of people that just, ghosted me, but regardless, I've got a lot of yeses, and obviously we're doing one a week. So it's going to take some time to get through them. So that's great. Great. We got people that want to be on. Tremendous. So what is our first thing in this process of just getting one episode? Well, we got to pick a guest, right? So I pick the guest and say, hey, can you record this week? And, yeah, whatever. And then we got to set up the date, the time, and the location. So, maybe it's at my house at 3 p.m. on a Thursday and, whatever. Or like it's via Zoom or something like that. So relatively standard. We do that. Then the next thing we have to do is we actually have to go to the thing, the actual, recording day, location, and all that. I got to bring all this gear underneath my desk. I got to bring the... the 2 sets of equipment. I got to bring the Zoom. I got to bring the camera, all this stuff, which actually is really packaged up really nicely. I'm so happy and so proud of the fucking way that I built this whole setup. I'm just stroking my ego, but like truthfully, like I'm just very happy with the way that all went. So, once you obviously sit down and you film and you record it, now you could actually add one step before here. Like maybe I should prepare a little bit more, but I don't really like doing that, honestly, because like I do, but I don't. Hey, it's the Wolfman. Technology. Yeah, Twitch is probably a little faster. as far as latency goes and stuff. And it's probably just better platform in general. But yeah. So film and record. And like I said, could put prepare in there. Don't really think that I'm going to put prepare in there. Just because, like I said, I want these conversations to be natural. I want, maybe to cover a couple topics, but I'm not going to like research and do crazy shit. Like I want to know who my guest is. And most of the time, for at least the foreseeable future, I'm going to know a lot about the people. And then we're going to have a good conversation. Like I don't actually have any doubts that any of these things are going to be weird or cringy or not have enough content, because just talk about yourself. Like I don't even fucking care. Whatever works, dude. Like I just want you to be comfortable and talk and have a conversation with me, just like we'd be talking without people, and then our audience is going to get something out of it. I'm 100% sure of it. So that is why there's probably not going to be a prepare step in there. So anyway, we film and record. Okay, great, good, done, go home. Import the video and I have two memory cards. So I have one in the Zoom and I have one in the Sony ZV-1 here. And I import the video files onto the computer. I import the audio files onto the computer. Then I format the memory cards and I put them right back in the devices because every time I do it, I want to be fresh. Because especially the camera, it's 4K video. It's fucking big. The Zoom has a 64 gig card in it. Honestly, could probably go for like several episodes, but doesn't matter. I import the shit and I delete the stuff. Sidebar there, I need to continue to get better at being digitally minimal on my computer because I don't have a ton of fucking space. I do have enough, but I don't have a ton of space to the point where I can just leave shit on there, like especially big video files and stuff. I need to get rid of that stuff as soon as possible. As soon as everything's done and in there. Which again, another side note, is kind of annoying because like I would like to keep stuff for like maybe like not even montages, but like had this thing yesterday, like a blooper reel, like on the 1 a.m. and the p.m. episode that we just filmed. And it's like, yeah, but no, like I don't have enough time right now to do that per se. I don't want to say I don't have enough time, but I'm not prioritizing that right now. And I'm not going to go back and look at this stuff. Like maybe one day, I don't know. I just don't think that's going to happen. So format the memory cards, try to get rid of the stuff after it's posted and everything like that. And that's kind of just how I'm going to rock until like I get to the point where like there's other people helping me and all that sort of shit, because I think that's the way it's got to go. Okay. So the next thing is edit the actual video. So I put the stuff in DaVinci Resolve. I kind of have like an intro and an outro thing that I have set up. So I got to put all that information in there. I got to put the video files in. And the video file obviously has a onboard, audio file attached to it that is not going to get used, but I have to utilize all that to match up the tracks of the audio that were recorded through the pod mics in the Zoom, right? So once I do that, then I can kind of like go through it. And this is the hard part right here, because this is the fucking time consuming thing. Imagine, like I just had, like imagine a 3-hour episode that you have sitting in your DaVinci Resolve editing software timeline, okay? Imagine having that in there, and then you have to go through it, and maybe more so on certain episodes than others, but you have to go through it, especially if you have more people in the episode. You have to go through it, and you have to make sure that none of it, like, one, if cameras like bug out and shit like that, Dave obviously knows, like you have to go through and you have to, splice that up and make sure that it fits properly and make sure that everything's, still in sync and everything. That's one thing. The second thing you have to do is you kind of just have to make sure that like, in my case, I'm going to be using the audio from that video edited to a slight degree, but I'm going to be using the audio from that video and rendering it here in a second out to the to put in the podcast, just the the audio podcast distribution site, Anchor, and then it goes out to all the places. So you got to make sure that like there's not like a lot of clipping. Like clipping is when like the audio gets really loud and then it gets distorted. You got to make sure that there's not a lot of that going on. You got to make sure you turn down shit. I just had to do this like today, like the one where we had 4 people. It got bad. I mean, it didn't get real bad, but it got noticeably shitty in certain spots because like screaming and laughing and all that sort of stuff, which is fine, right? There's probably easier ways to mitigate that. But the point is that I have to do some sort of quality control in the episode. And when it's long, it's tough. It's not obviously not doable. It's fucking time that you have to devote to that. So that's huge. So it's not just like the render time, it's actually like the editing time because of the length of the stuff, right? So that's that. Then what I have to do though is once I'm done with that and kind of like, the editing is basically good, I have to export a still. So like an image from the video to use as a thumbnail. We're using a very simple process right now. We're not getting fancy with a lot of this shit. We are covering all the fundamentals and we're not getting very fancy. So like after we edit the video, like I said, we grab like a still from anywhere in there that's just like, I'm kind of just going with anything that like looks good, anything that has both of the people in it and, you see them or they're smiling or something like that. And then I dump that. We'll use that in a second. But after I grab that, I start rendering the audio. So the audio that I render comes right out of that video because it's all, synced up and everything like that. And I just render out like one WAV file. I render that out and that normally takes much less than video. So I don't know. I think there was a 3-hour one today. No, there was almost a 2-hour episode and it was like maybe 30 minutes or something like that to render the audio. I can't remember exactly, but something like that, 20, 30 minutes. And while the audio is rendering, you probably shouldn't do too much shit as like things are rendering, but this machine is a beast, so whatever. So as the audio is rendering out, then I normally go over to Canva and I make just the little thumbnail, which if you've seen them, they're very simplistic, but they do the job. It's a picture and then it has like a bar and it says like whatever the episode title is and whoever the guest is or whatever the topic is, yada yada. And yeah, so I create the thumbnail and then I download that to be used when I upload the video to YouTube in a second. But once the audio is done, immediately, and this process has changed a little bit, but as soon as the audio is done, I start to render the video portion because the video portion is where it gets a little longer. It's not that long, but it's still long. I think a 3-hour video was about an hour and 45 minutes. So you're looking at maybe like half the time, which is actually really fucking good for 4K footage. It's really good. But obviously, again, invest in yourself and equipment and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it's fast, but it's still a long time given the amount of, like the length of the things that we're doing. So it takes a long time. So again, I get that started as soon as I can. And then I don't know if I could really do these both at the same time. I think I might be able to. Don't know if it'd be a great idea. But let's just say I have some time there or I do it on a different machine or something. I have some time there. That's downtime that this thing's going to be working. So I take the audio that I rendered. I take the one audio file of the video. I take that and I go put it into Audacity. Now, I do this. It's probably unnecessary because there's probably a different way. There's probably an easier way, better way, whatever. I'm just familiar with Audacity. I take Audacity and we'll say a 2-hour clip, 2-hour 2-hour audio file. I make sure the end and the beginning are just decent, as far as like time goes, nothing crazy. It's just audio. So it just like cuts, like a couple seconds before and after, couple seconds of silence before, a couple seconds, like one, it doesn't fucking matter, whatever. Just make it sound good there. But the other thing that I do is that this audio is going to go into Anchor and it's going to go out to all of our podcast platforms. The thing that I do in there is I cut the file up into multiple segments. So let's just say, for simplicity, let's say it's a 3-hour video. And Anchor allows you to have multiple segments and then you can add ads in between them. So I chop out like the first hour, the second hour, and the third hour. Then I'll have 3 files. So I will export those files from Audacity into just little MP3s. So I have 3 MP3s, part 1, part 2, part 3. Then I export those, so I have those as the files. Then I go over to Anchor and I upload those into Anchor, 1, 2, and 3. And I put sponsored segments or ad breaks in between, like 1 and 2 and in between 2 and 3. Once I do that, then you go to the next step in Anchor, and this is where we're at here. We're publishing on Anchor. So when you go onto Anchor, it's a beautiful platform. It's free. If you want a podcast, start there. Please, for the love of God, do not pay for anything for a podcast until you're committed. And you don't even actually need to move from the distribution part. I'm talking about like that and the equipment. Just fucking start for free. It's amazing. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not going to go into it right now. But Anchor. You put the file in and everything like that. The next step is title, description, when you want to post it, and then a couple other pieces like, is it explicit? What episode number is it? That sort of shit. So you got to put all that stuff in there. So title is pretty easy. I have to come up with a description. I'm not doing anything crazy because, again, it's not. It just works. Whatever it is, like it's about the guest or whatever, and then yada yada, and then you schedule it for the certain time. So that's it, and then you schedule that. Hopefully, I don't know the timing of all this sort of stuff, but hopefully at some point, as we're doing all that, that shouldn't take like an hour and a half or whatever it is. So you might be able to do other things. But at some point, whenever the video is finished and I have one MOV file, then I take it to YouTube and I go and I upload it onto the channel. So I upload the video file. And I don't know if I talked about, I think I talked about this like briefly in the beginning, but this is where it gets fucking annoying with YouTube because I'm uploading 4K footage and it literally takes like 20 minutes to upload, step one. Then it takes literally probably an hour or more, honestly could be a lot more, to process the standard definition version of the video. So I'm putting a 4K video on there, but it transcodes it into different, levels of, and compresses it down like into 360p. If you ever looked, it's 360p, 720p, 1080p, all that sort of shit. So it's got to do that, right? So it processes the standard definition, which literally takes, I don't even know how long it takes. It takes probably, it's taken hours. Like I put it up. The one with Dave was I made it. I uploaded it in the morning, like around 12 or maybe a little later, and it wasn't up for like 2 hours. Like just a standard definition. Okay, so let's say 2 hours, whatever, it doesn't matter. 2 hours, okay? 2 hours to get the standard definition version up. That means you can watch it on YouTube, but you can only watch it in like 360p. It looks real shitty. I've seen it. Then after that, it takes multiple hours to get that thing to actual 4K. Like I think Dave's episode, I did it yesterday. It honestly, it wasn't done and fully in 4K until sometime this morning or something like that. So the point that I'm making is I need to do that earlier. Like I can't wait till the last minute. So that needs to get done earlier, like probably on Tuesday or Monday, right? So that's fucked because now like that's a real weird thing. What I'm saying is like I'm doing all this stuff and like it's like I don't have time to do anything else now. Like I have created a monster, and I could just use 1080p or some shit like that, but I don't want to do that. I've created this time sucking thing, which hopefully is, I think it's really good. I love everything, but what I'm saying is like I need a little help or something, right? I need to think about this. But anyway, that is the annoying part about publishing on YouTube. And again, you have to like, title, description, a couple other things here and there. But basically, the time there is the time that it takes to upload and process and all that other BS. So and this is another thing too, is kind of annoying. Only after the standard definition is processed can you do like the little end card thing. So if you've watched any of them, or if you watched any YouTube video, there's like end cards at the end where like the video is still playing and like you press subscribe or you could press, next video or any video or whatever. And that's something that you do on the channel level. It's not a big deal, but it's something that I just, built in there and have done. And so at some point I need to add those. It takes 2 seconds, but again, it's annoying because there's that time thing there. Now, this next part is actually the reason that I did all this, because this is something actionable that like Amanda could do. Maybe not for Fueled by Progress specifically, but definitely AM and the PM when I kind of like revamped this for AM and the PM. She was handling all the social media, and she was doing a good job. And I did it like once or something like that, and I just wanted to kind of like come back with her, because after we started doing the video portion, like I would have a thumbnail and that's what we would post and stuff. And basically where we're at is I did it the last 2 weeks, and I'm trying to make this process for her so she can kind of follow it, and then, you know, we can edit it as needed and stuff. It's pretty straightforward, but it's fucking in depth. Like it's you know, it's just what you should do, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people do this. I don't want to call it the right way, but I don't think people like understand. I come from a real estate marketing background, and people just don't understand the way that this shit works. Now, obviously, they're older and stuff like that, so it's like, you know, it's understandable. But I'm just gonna lay this out here, and this is how this is gonna work. So once we have the YouTube video up, and it's on all podcast platforms and everything, I love the YouTube aspect because it's kind of sexy in a way. You know, it's like, oh, cool, it's a video. You can watch it or you can listen to it, whatever. It's a little bit more than a podcast, like in my opinion. Like it's a little bit more enticing than just like a podcast audio format on those other platforms. But I think still it's good to have both. I will tell you the very annoying part of what we're doing now. It's that's definitely true, but the very annoying part of what we have created is that the Pete Mullins episode, for instance, got 100+ views on YouTube, and I'm sure it's gotten like less than 10 views on Anchor, through the podcast network, right? It's kind of annoying because we make money through the podcast thing right now. We don't make money through the very nominal, absolutely nominal, like cents per episode, like not even really, but like $15 per 1,000 listens is what it is right now. So not a lot whatsoever because we don't even have 1,000 listens. But the point is that it's annoying slightly that people are watching on YouTube. Even though I love it, it's annoying still because that's not where we're making the money yet, obviously, right? If we continue on YouTube and we get more followers and subscriptions and stuff like that, then, you know, at some point you can monetize and things along those lines. So it's all about consistency. It's kind of annoying right now, but it's the right thing to do, obviously. But what it does give us, what YouTube gives us, is it gives us like a link. It gives us like a very good picture in a sense to share, like a good catchy thing. So what I do is I take that URL to that YouTube video. I post it on the FBP LinkedIn page. And I put like a short little description saying like, hey, you know, find it, you know, at this link, you know, click the link below, or, you know, go on the thing or whatever, talk about the guest for a little bit. Ooh, get tired. You gotta finish up here. You know, do that sort of shit. And then what I do is, so this is the way that I know this needs to work. You put the post on your page. You put the post on your LinkedIn page for the brand, Fueled by Progress. You're building that up. Then you share that post to your personal LinkedIn profile. This is going to be the theme here, but we're using LinkedIn first. Then you share that to your personal LinkedIn profile. So, and if you note that, like you write a little description, you know, a little message there in the post. You say, hey, like check out my company or check out this thing that I did, and then like people know that like they know you, and they know, oh, Mark is you know, doing stuff for FBP, like he's, you know, the founder of FBP, like shit like that. So it kind of like puts that connection there, which is awesome. And then you're sharing stuff not only on yours but also on your companies, and that's how that works. So then you basically keep doing that. You share it on your Facebook page, FBP Facebook page. Then I share it on my MJS page, which is this page that we're on right now. And then I also share it to my Facebook profile, my personal Facebook profile, which I would actually rather not have, but you can't do that. As a quick aside, people are probably like wondering why the fuck I have an MJS like Facebook page. Like at least some people that like don't know me or haven't talked to me about that. And the reason is because like this is like a public figure page or like an, you know, entrepreneur page in a sense. Like the way that Facebook works, and I'm not going to get into a crazy marketing thing right now, is like you can't do a lot of that stuff from, you know, a profile. Maybe some people understand that because like celebrities like have personal pages, you know, but that is effectively what I've created with this MJS thing. Like that was always going to be my professional identity and has really merged with my personal identity in a lot of ways. Like I said, I'd rather just not even have a Facebook profile. I could probably get rid of it slightly, but again, at this point, it's fine. Whatever. Sidebar, super fun fact, you can only have, I think, 5,000 friends. So if you ever get to 5,000 friends, you're shit out of luck. Next thing. So we do LinkedIn, we do Facebook. Next thing we have is Instagram. So we post, there's this really cool thing that you can do is if you can go onto Spotify, you don't even need to have I think you might need to have an account, but you don't need to have a membership or anything. You can go into Spotify, you can go to any song, album, or anything like that, and you press share, and then you press Instagram stories, and it'll put the album artwork in there, and it'll say at the top left, play on Spotify. And if they click that, they'll go to Spotify. Now, if they don't have Spotify, kind of fucking stupid, but regardless, it's kind of a cool thing. And I've seen a lot of other people do it. So that's what I want to do here is we go to Spotify, we share that link out on our Instagram story, our FBP Instagram story, just so people could do that. Then we put a post on the Instagram feed, which is just like a regular Instagram post, which is kind of going to be similar to the things that we did up here, like this post and this post. They're all pretty similar. They got the thumbnail of the video. Again, until we start posting clips and doing clips, which is a totally different fucking discussion that would find its way into this thing. We're not going to have too much stuff to actually post per se, because we don't have enough tiny things. But it's working for now. Shitty part, obviously, about Instagram is there's no fucking, there's no goddamn, linking. It's so stupid. I don't know why they haven't done something to fix that. And it's not fixed. It's I don't know why they haven't decided that was important. So you kind of have to link in a bio or whatever. But basically it's a picture of the thumbnail and then the thing. It says, hey, go to YouTube, click the link in our bio, or go to YouTube or look up the podcast, stuff like that, just to continue to get the awareness out. And then kind of the other shitty thing is there's no way to really repost that. There is, but it's not really the best. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to share the Instagram, share this post on the FBP Instagram feed post, share that onto my MJS Instagram story to say, yo, go the fuck over there and check this out. Basically, that's it. So that was a lot of shit. And side note, I am super happy. I'm super happy that Game Stance is following me on Twitch. I appreciate that, Game Stance. I'm super happy that I don't have to use my phone anymore. I can show my pretty phone on stream. People think that this is pink. It's actually oh so orange, but it does look pink in certain light. Sony autofocus. Cool. All right, that's dope. I really love this camera. It's great. Love Camlink too. It's fantastic. Anyway, I am still talking a lot, and this has been pretty good for being 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what the fuck has gotten into me. I say this every day, but this sleep schedule is wild. The point that I wanted to make here, obviously, is the schedule and the kind of the process that I've developed here, which again should probably be a standalone video, but we're not really done with it yet. So maybe one day. Maybe this will absolutely be in my How to Start a Podcast course, which maybe will be monetized, maybe won't. I don't know. But regardless, a lot of good stuff here. I've learned a lot, and I'll keep you guys updated with the way that these things go and the way this thing evolves. Hi, back to me. That's so cool. I love having a computer that can do all this stuff without an absolute hitch. Let's just randomly, just for funsies, let's pull this up here and see PC monitoring. Oh my God. That is incredulous. 6% load. 6% load on the CPU, 65 degrees. GPU, it's going back between 18 and 40, up and down, a little bit here and there, depending on, I guess, what it's rendering at what time. And it's 34 degrees. Is that Fahrenheit? No, it's Celsius. I don't know if I should switch that. But anyway, the point is that this thing is a fucking monster. And unless you try to run. I actually named my computer I named this thing. It's a SpaceX controller. That's funny, but it's actually it's just comical to me that it's this solid, and like it doesn't seem like it really it doesn't really get, it takes a lot to fuck it up. So it's tremendous. Just a random side note, like I said, I just kind of wanted to see with all this stuff going on, because yeah, the other one wouldn't be able to handle all this. So again, invest in yourself, invest in the things you want to do shit that you love. Can't say it anymore. But yeah, we've gone over a lot here in the middle of the night. And I guess we'll just kind of leave it with a couple things that I need to do tomorrow. So I need to promote AM and the PM 18, because I didn't do that. Like, it was up today, and like I think the 4K is almost up. I think the HD is up now or whatever, but it's, again, just like I said, a pain in the ass. So I got to promote that tomorrow. I'm going to go through that list, but I'm going to go through it on the AM and the PM side of things. Amanda and I are going to go like outdoorsing. We're going to go to Allegheny National Forest in early August here. So I got to look for some like outdoor stuff, see if I have any shit in my house. Probably not. And the other random thing, actually, this is related to the YouTube stuff. YouTube upload defaults. So like when you upload a video, there's certain things that you have to, put in, like information they put in. Well, you can go into YouTube and you can set up like default stuff, so you don't have to put in all that every time. That's hugely helpful, and I haven't done that. I did that for the main channel for MJS, but I didn't do it for any of the Fuel by Progress or FBP clips or like AM and the PM or anything. So I kind of started that. I'm going to probably tie that up tomorrow. And then I got to figure out what to do with all these goddamn memory cards on my desk that have just been sitting here. There's a couple like micro SD cards and shit. And ultimately figure out what I'm going to do with that old laptop. So I should probably wipe that at some point. So hopefully tomorrow will be a nice, like, kind of easy Friday. Then I'm going to hang out with Amanda and some friends. And the weekend's going to suck ball sack. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to work at the restaurant. So that always sucks ass. So hopefully we can get a lot of stuff done tomorrow. And honestly, gotta start fucking filming the other one. Or I filmed the next FBP. The next AM and the PM is probably gonna get done on Sunday. I have to fucking do it. I have to do the I have to edit it. I have to start this process. So we will see what happens with all this jazz. Yeah. Got a couple things coming. Got an Orbit key coming Monday. Like I said, don't know if I'm going to send that back or not. Depends on how egotistical I get with the monogram thing. And I bought an Xbox controller. I might have said that. It's red. It's supposedly the one that doesn't need a dongle or anything. It's Bluetooth, so hopefully that'll be kind of cool if that ever comes in. It's supposed to come in like fucking August, so it doesn't make any sense. But again, pissed off because of the the Warzone thing. So I don't know. I'm pretty much done. I gotta go to sleep. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. I know these are terrible fucking times, but one day they will get better. I promise you. So if anybody watches this shit on the rerun, I truly appreciate your support. I appreciate obviously everybody that tunes in live as well. But like if you have the if you are like dedicated enough or whatever, or like you're interested enough in the stuff that I'm doing to watch these, basically me rambling and talking about different nonsense in the morning, and like at 2 a.m. in the morning, the next day, if you have the interest to watch this stuff next day, I really appreciate that. Like I said, one day there will be a time where we can put the shit at a better time so everybody can engage with it. But until then, I truly do appreciate everybody that has supported me through this stuff, whether it's Just give me tips here and there, or just watching the content, engaging with it. I really appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to keep going here. We got a lot more stuff to do. We're never going to be done. And that's just the way we like it. You got to enjoy the process. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a good day, and tomorrow should be a nice wrap up to the week. And I will absolutely talk to you guys tomorrow. See you later. I'm going to try to end this. Had a good time, but I don't know. If I click end stream, I think it'll end in multiple places, different times. So I don't know.